Welcome to the second Olympus Podcast. My name is Fraser. I'm your host. I'm one of the leaders of Olympus. Charmander?
Exact same as last time.
Yeah.
My name's Charmander. Charmander or Zach. I'm like rank 20 something on the high scores. I'm also an Olympus leader, and I'm killing Karasks in game right now in honor of Kalon.
Hello everyone, I'm Timos, captain in Olympus.
I'm Jack 3 Nana in Olympus, and I'm killing some redwoods.
Cringe.
Killing redwoods.
I'm Lug. I'm a bronze star in Olympus, currently rank 42 on the second page Ironman high scores.
My man. Alrighty, so what is everyone doing right now? I'm fishing. You can see what I'm doing. But, Charmander? Just say what you're doing, what your plans are, what your goals are. And we'll start talking about the mindset to success as a RuneScape player.
Like I said, I'm still killing Karasks. I have like 60 left on tasks. I've only managed to kill one since I last said what I was doing. My plans for the upcoming future would probably be 50 mil Slayer and 20 mil base besides Runecrafting until they nerf library. And I also have a really bad cough right now, so if you hear me mute randomly in the middle of myself talking, that's what I'm doing. That's all.
Jack, what have you been up to? What are the
it's me.
immediate goals? Oh, sorry, I'll just run through. Jack.
I've been doing some redwoods, been doing some cramwans, some rune crafting. I think I'm going for 20 mil base, but I'm not quite sure yet because I don't really want to do some of the more click intensive skills. But I don't know. I'm just doing whatever I find fun, I guess.
Right now I'm doing mining. Gonna probably go for 200 mil straight. And after that I want to do fishing.
Oh, you said you're gonna get 200 mil first?
Nah, like my goals. I'm gonna do mining first and then fishing. That's what I meant.
Oh, you're gonna be rank 1 Ironman mining is what you said.
My man.
Sure, dude.
Champion.
That's what I thought I heard, but anyway.
And Luke, what are you up to?
At the moment, I am doing a farm run, but I will soon be on the RD course alking. I'm prepping basically for the Olympus bingo happening on March, so I need a lot of alkables for that. My goals for 2019 at the moment, or current, like, recent goals kind of thing in the near future. Basically just do well in Olympus bingo, help out whatever team I end up being on. I guess my goals for 2019 at the moment are going to be basically I want to finish TOB. I'm doing TOB at the moment for Scythe. Want to finish that up. I want to get all jars in 2019. I have 3 left to go. I just need Jar of Swamp, Jar of Stone, and the Jar of Chemicals. And I want to get 80 mil Slayer.
What are you missing from Theater of Blood right now?
Scythe and Staff.
Scythe and Staff. I'm missing Scythe and Rapier. I'll just talk about what my plans are real quick before we move on. I just wanted to do like a little icebreaker who everyone is. But I'm just planning on trying to get all the skilling pets. Become a pet hunter recently. Mainly because I've been lucky with pets, otherwise I wouldn't really care. But and also trying to finish Theater of Blood maybe. I've got 5 out of 7, missing the Rapier and Scythe. So, alrighty, let's move on quickly. I just wanted to say who everyone was. So first question, do you guys set small goals for every day, week? Or are your goals more long-term now that you're maxed? How important is it to set goals? So I think setting goals on RuneScape is the only way to stay motivated. I think it's super important. And I think you're pretty silly if you're not setting yourself probably weekly goals at least. It's really good to have like what you want to do laid out for the whole year. So like obviously I want to get the Heron pet next probably. And then Chin pet. If Normies isn't all over me, but anyway. We'll see how I can do Black Chins, whether I can do that or not. Anyway, yeah, I just set myself weekly goals, basically. I know what I want to do throughout the week, and I think it's really important.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. I also think it's important to, if you're working on like a long-term goal, to start setting goals once you're done with your long-term goal, like while you're still working on it. So as an example, when I was working on 200 mil fire making and then 200 mil thieving, 200 mil fire making and 200 mil thieving back to back, people kept telling me that like you're going to hit the 200 mil and then just burn out like everyone else does. But like once I hit 150 whatever mil fire making, I just started planning ahead what I wanted to do after that. And, you know, once you've done the same thing for 500 plus hours, I was excited to move on and do other things. So having that stuff in your head as opposed to just hitting the 200 mil fire making goal and then just standing at a bank being like, well, what do I do now? Is really important. And like Fraser said, if you don't have goals, then you're basically guaranteed to burn out. So I think goals are really important. I think you have to have short-term, medium-term, and even like really, really long-term goals if you want to stay motivated at all times.
I don't really set weekly goals. I like to plan ahead more, so I like to set goals for the next year or maybe even 2 years. Like I know what I want to do for the next 2 years, and it's really exciting.
Long-term player.
I don't really set goals really because I don't really burn out. I mean, you could call me a burnout for doing redwoods and stuff, but I'm just kind of I'm playing 3 accounts, so shut the fuck up. But I set like goals, but I don't really try to stick to them very well, like 20 mil base or whatever. But I'm not really going for that like as soon as I possibly can. When I went for max though, I sort of kind of ground that out. But no, I just play like in the day, whatever I feel like doing on a certain day is what I do.
When you're not busy with all your classes and stuff and work.
Yeah, exactly. Full time.
It's hard having 3 kids.
What, wife and 3 kids? Yeah,
it's hard.
Understandable. My thoughts on goals, I kind of have it a little bit similar to Timo's, but the opposite way, where I don't actually have super long-term goals because I don't really know, I mean, how long I plan to play really. So I kind of just take it to small or short-term and medium-term. In the fact my play style kind of reflects that too, where I'm more focused on like fast XP or stuff like that. I don't really care too much about the EHP side of things, just because I don't see myself ever getting 200 mil all. It's not really realistic or something like that for me. So yeah, I prefer to just stick to short-term, medium goals. I don't really set myself weekly goals, but yeah, probably about a year is like the longest term I really look ahead.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, same here. I mean, I have a year-long goal. I want to be around rank 5 overall by the end of the year. Right now I'm about rank 10 overall, but I think it's probably realistic and achievable, so yeah.
Yeah, I think week-long goals are kind of weird too, though.
Yeah.
A few times I tried setting week-long goals, it just ended up stressing me out at the end because it's hard. Like I at least don't know exactly how much I'm going to be able to play every week.
Yeah.
And so it would just like, I would feel bad if I wanted to go do something else that wasn't within the week-long standard I set myself. So I generally stick to like medium length, like a month, a few months, and then long-term, like a year plus type of thing. Because you have a ton of leeway with stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think you just get frustrated if like something comes up that you have no control about over, really.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
the most important thing is just like when you log in, you should be logging in because you enjoy logging in, not because you're trying to force yourself to hit some arbitrary goal.
Bro.
And I think the week-long goals mess with that mindset the most. So anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, on the same sort of topic, what are your goals for 2019? So as I said, I'm trying to get rank 5 overall. I'd like to have all the skilling pets by the end of the year. So I've got like Heron left, Rock Golem, RC pet. That's about it, I think. I've got pretty much all of the others. Might be missing 1 or 2 there, but I just sort of working on the skilling pets and maybe some raiding. Probably want to get most of Chambers done. See how it goes. I don't know how busy I'll be, how motivated I'll be. But I'm just working towards raiding right now. and then I've got goals after that. But in 2019, just raiding and skilling pets.
Goals for me, 50 mil Slayer is what I'm working on right now. That's pretty long term because I average like 1 mil Slayer a week. So that's like 4 to 7 months probably. Other things I'd like to do is just keep getting my mining and fishing up, especially when I get tasks like back-to-back blue dragons. I just can't do an entire Vorcat task in one sitting, and so mining and fishing are usually my go-to skills when I don't feel like PVMing, because I'm not a PVMer like Lug. So those will just passively go up as I train my Slayer, but right now I'm really just focusing on Slayer and passive farming, I guess, because of contracts.
My goals are 200 more mining and fishing, which is about 3k HP, which should be pretty easy to do. So I hope I can hit that.
Rank 1 mining also is a goal of Timos's.
What a beast.
He's just too afraid to say it, but I'll say it for you.
I'm humble.
He's a humble gamer.
Mine is, well, similar to Charmander. I want to get 50 mil Slayer. Already 30 million. I got that yesterday, so should be pretty simple. I'm not a very efficient Slayer. If you've ever seen how I do Smoke Devils.
Oh yeah, I saw that picture of you doing Smoke Devils the other day where you died. So
yeah, yeah, I slay at like 45k, 50k XP an hour. So I don't know, it's fun for me. So
it's close to the HP.
Yeah, probably 50 mil Slayer, 20 mil base, as I said before, and I'll be happy if I just get those two things. And then on top of that, probably TOB, get a rapier, and then just do what I find fun.
Fair enough. I think I already touched briefly on my 2019 goals, but I want to get Scythe, finish all jars this year, aim for 80 mil Slayer, and win the March Bingo.
My man. Alrighty, moving on from that. Farming Guild. Well, that looks pretty small on my screen. Let's see if I can change that. Farming Guild, what did you guys think? Jack?
Okay,
do you think it was a good update, a bad update? What changes would you make? Do you think contracts were a healthy change to the meta?
Yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, I really like the Farming Guild. I like Kebos as a whole. Farming Guild's probably my favorite bit of content because I'm there like every hour. And I actually like doing the hourly stuff. I like seeing the herbs stack up in the bank and that kind of thing. So I'm not really opposed to extra like herb patch here and there or whatever. If it doesn't make it like too ridiculous. Contracts, on the other hand, are a bit kind of stupid at the moment, and they really need to be looked at because they pretty much doubled herb XP. You have like infinite irrit seeds now. I'm trying to get through my irrits at the moment. I think I was at like 600 seeds last week, and now I'm at 400, even though I've been doing herb runs like exactly when I can. But yeah, it's nice seeing like 10k irrits in the bank and that kind of thing. That's my thoughts, really. I really like it, but change contracts.
And then the question everybody's wondering, are you team Kronos or Addis?
Kronos all the way, dude. I just got a Kronos seed right now.
Did I ask you, though?
I have, I think, 17 Kronos drops, 17 Isosaur, and 5 Atas. So I'd like to be Atas gang, but at the moment I'm kind of forced to be Kronos.
That was a joke, by the way. I feel like I sounded angry when I said that, but anyway.
All right, cool, man.
Okay, moving swiftly along. As far as the farming guild, I think the guild itself was a really cool update. I think it made farming fun again for a lot of people. The guild like looks super, super beautiful. It's probably like the best looking place that they've added so far, in my opinion. I think all the extra patches and then having like the different sections is really cool, and a growable redwood is just like a really cool concept. Contracts, I think, are incredibly busted. The fact that they almost doubled herb EHP and basically ruined farming as a whole is
completely ruined it.
Yeah, just went from like a pretty respectable skill to just like 6 mil EHP, and no matter like you only farm like palms and dragon fruits and stuff like that is just insane. we've been talking with the JMods about fixing contracts. Either like make pre-planting not work or make it so that the seeds scale with the longer grow times of things. So if you get like a limpwort seed, you get worse seeds than a redwood tree, for instance. Honestly, they could probably do both, and contracts would still be worth doing. But yeah, I think they definitely need to be looked at. The guild as a whole was a really awesome update, like I said, but I think you'd have a hard time finding anyone who disagrees with the fact that contracts are pretty absurd right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of gonna agree with that to some degree. I love the farming guild. Like, it's probably one of my favorite updates about it. Like, Konnar Slayer was great, but the farming guild on that last update, I think, was the best part of it. Everyone spends so much time there. It's really cool. The idea of contracts are awesome. I think, it shows a little bit about what artisan could have been, kind of thing. Not that I want a new skill, but yeah. Anyways, contracts are great, except I think they do need to be nerfed a little bit in terms of the actual resources it gives you. I think Lelador would be having a seizure right now if he realized that papayas are useless. So yeah, I still farm papayas, but they're not efficient anymore, and it just like makes me sad. So yeah, I don't know. Basically, long story short, love the farming guild, but contracts need to be looked at.
It's like pretty incredible that right now, if you like just farm palms, dragon fruits, and like redwoods and stuff, that you just still go over 200 mil farming.
Yeah,
like that should never be a thing. Yeah, they just ruined the whole skill, in my opinion. They definitely need to be looked at.
Well, the reason for that is because Ironman mode is such a long mode. Like, all the skills take so long. So because you've got like 10 years to get 200 mil all, or whatever it is, so much longer than mains, there's no rush to do things like papayas or whatever. You can just do like redwoods and spirit trees and shit, and just ignore.
So what you're saying is they should make every other skill faster, so that we have to
and then the
willows and stuff. Yeah.
No, Jack RS has launched that he farms willows into the chat, so.
I mean, yeah. Lelador used to farm oaks.
Willows and pineapples, man.
Oaks. I can admit it. I farmed oaks.
Shout out to Trisk for farming oaks, though. I respect that.
He still does it.
Oak roots.
Respect.
Yeah, big respect from me.
So, Timos, what did you think of the farming guild? Was it healthy for the game?
The farming guild itself is good. I really like the area and all the new patches and shit. Contracts are bad. They need to be looked at. Anything I would change, I would make the white lily seed drops way more common. Like, I've been killing Hespori for 2 months and I still don't have a drop.
Yep.
30 KC, like, what?
Yeah, no, not great. And I just think contracts need to be looked at a bit. They're a bit too strong in terms of herb and farming. Really herbler as well. Like, you sort of get like 0-time snapegrass now, 0-time potato cactus. That's silly. I don't know. Like, every time you do a farming guild contract, you can just plant some new snapegrass, some new potato cactus. You get a lot of
and Hespori seeds also.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can basically sustain them just through contracts.
It's not balanced. I've got an extra like 50 Hespori seeds right now. Yeah, and I was
same.
away for the first 3 weeks of the update. So I don't know what people have been doing constantly. Oh god, but yeah.
I end up bank sending a lot just from between like Theater of Blood runs and farming runs and stuff like that. So every time I just find myself at the bank, I just end up going to the potato cactus patch and picking a full inventory.
Yeah.
It's like every 25 minutes it regrows. So it's just completely easy mode to get.
What do you guys think about those secondaries? They added like snapegrass seeds and potato cactus. Do you think that's like a good idea, or do you not like those either?
I was just about to say the snapegrass gives so much XP that like it's like
that's insane.
Yeah,
it's so too much experience to be honest.
Love it.
Whereas
I got 600k Dave because
it's like 85 a pick or something dumb like that.
Yeah,
90.
It's right next to a leprechaun, so you can just keep nerding it as well, which is really nice.
Yeah.
But in the farming guild. But not only that, but like we changed from like teleporting to Waterbeth Island, looting a full inventory at 0 XP and then banking it. Now we're getting it like 10 times faster while getting farming experience. It's like
With
a massive
XP.
change.
and not even having to go out of our way to get snapegrass seeds.
Yeah,
like people thought master farmers were going to be the way you get snapegrass seeds. Everyone was so excited for master farmers.
Yeah, everyone has
We
like
want
one
them.
Contracts.
We warned them, like, hey, you have to make snapegrass seeds kind of hard to get. You can't put them on everything. And they were like, all right, we'll listen to you. And then they didn't. Well, I know we were talking to a user about it at least. I remember telling a user, hey, snapegrass seeds can't be like super easy to get, or they'll kind of ruin the game. Or like, not ruin the game, but just like make it like so much easier. And then I feel like once some things become a lot easier, then it's like a slippery slope for updates. But we'll talk about that later.
The XP is just crazy. Also, like I'd love to know what the thought process was there. Maybe trying to make it viable for mains. So, because mains don't care about gathering their own snakegrass. So maybe if you make it good XP, they'd farm it. But they're still not going to farm it. So now you've just made it double as bad for Ironman because we get insane XP and passive secondaries.
Should be like half or less the amount of XP.
Yeah. Although the runs take like 30 minutes if you farm all your snapegrass.
Yeah.
Even if it was 0 XP, we'd still farm it. So like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, Christ.
I think
you mean
maybe a little bit more than watermelons just to keep with like the level going up, but it doesn't have to be 90 XP per. And they give like 60 or something per patch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and with
it's
Attas
like-
you get so much more. Did anyone notice the Attas scaling on snapegrass is like insane?
Oh really? I thought it was just fixed for
I
everything.
thought it was just herb patches.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
No, it's everything. I'm pretty sure.
Because with Chronos, I was usually getting around between like 25 to 35 snapegrass per patch, and I heard Attas people getting like 60 in there.
All right.
Oh, there's a lot of variance. Like some snapegrass patches I'm receiving like 14 and some like 60. So like, I don't know if that's related to the anima patch you've got planted, but...
Hashtag
You
Chronos.
should probably plant white lilies in all the allotment patches as well, bros.
Yeah, even the current one, like
Especially
Jack.
the current one, yeah.
Oh my god, stop.
That picture was great. Jack posted in Discord, hey guys, I planted white lilies. Everywhere, even Krend.
No, he didn't post it. He just showed it in one of the videos on accident. And someone called him out.
Didn't like Zulu commented on Twitter, it was like, isn't that protected? And Jack's just like, yeah.
Alrighty,
Jack, didn't you also die to a Smoke Devil Superior like 2 days ago?
let's move
Anyway.
on. Alright,
Then you got
Slayer
the wrong
meta.
guy.
Slayer meta changes. So with the Kibbles Lowlands, we got Konnar, the new Slayer Master. We got some new NPCs. We got worms, drakes, hydras, and the Hydra boss. And some new items, like Ferocious Gloves and the new Lance. How has that changed our Slayer meta as Iron Men? Charmander.
I think Konnar is pretty garbage. She's basically just a conduit to get Hydra tasks right now. I think even before they nerfed her, she was probably fine. Considering, like, people didn't consider all the trash tasks you have to go through to get those, like, 100 Snapdragon drops and stuff. So it's not like you're killing Vorkath and barraging smokes every task and then also getting 100 noted Snapdragons. It's like you're meleeing greater demons and fire giants and stuff and get like 100 snaps a task. As for Konnar, basically, not anymore. Now you get gold ore and iron ore. Konnar is basically just a conduit to get to Hydra, so I don't really have opinions on her. I guess it's cool for like low to mid-level Ironmen before you can get to barrage tasks and stuff.
I mean, you can have an opinion like it's really shit. Like, I think it's awful.
It's really garbage. Like, there's literally no reason to do her apart from getting a Hydra task.
Yep.
Like, not a single reason. There's nothing redeeming about her, besides that she's the only one that assigns Hydras.
Yep.
As far as, like, the Worms, Drakes, and Hydra tasks, I mean, they're okay. They kind of really ruin the Slayer tables. I think I prefer it this way because I prefer getting more resources and stuff from Slayer, so we get a ton of prayer and we melee all our dragons and stuff like that, and I don't really have a huge issue with that. I think the weightings on them are pretty insane though. They're like 8 each, right? Something crazy like that. I think 8 each. Doesn't matter, they're really high.
For Daredevil, they're 8 each, yeah. Konnar, the worms and drakes are actually 10.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah, like, just ruined Daredevil's table so much. And then the gloves and lance, I don't have gloves, so I can't really comment.
I've got the gloves.
I think
they're real good.
cool.
Use them every day.
That's
Why don't you have the gloves, Charmander?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I couldn't give you a sound reason. I think the gloves are pretty cool. They're not that useful for me because the only PVM I do is Slayer, and so I guess like meleeing dragons and like be okay. The lance I think is really awesome. I love like meleeing red dragons and stuff, and having to do less Zora because we don't have to blowpipe anything now, pretty much. And the lance just looks really awesome and feels really fun to use. And I went 1300 dry for it, so it's my prized possession.
That's not fucking dry. 1.3 times the dry rate, the drop rate.
That's dry, dude.
All right, man. Yeah, struggle.
1K with one ring piece, dude.
Wow.
Well, you're the 30%. 1 in 3 plates go that dry. That's insane.
Can you guys stop bullying me, man? I'm just gonna leave the call.
All right, Jack. What did you think of the Slayer metal changes?
Okay, I'm gonna throw in a bit of a probably an unpopular opinion here, at least. I like that the waiting for the new monsters is high because it makes Slayer a little bit slower with all the updates that makes Slayer faster, like bracelets and Konnar catacombs and all this shit that you have to barrage now. I actually like that it's gotten a little bit slower because now I feel a little bit better about doing Slayer at 40k an hour, which is a good thing. The other stuff, Konnar. I actually really like Konnar for low level. I made an ultimate like 2 months ago, and I've been doing Konnar on that. The drops are really nice, actually, like iron ore and steel bars and stuff, just for like low level smithing and that kind of thing. Can't really see it being useful for high level, other than just for Hydra tasks. But I don't think it has to be meta because it's a low requirement Slayer master. So I think Duradel still being the meta for high levels is absolutely fine. I mean, you don't even need a Slayer level requirement to use Konnar, so yeah, I don't really have a problem with it at all.
Do you think when they added the super high weightings on the new task that they did it with the intention of slowing Slayer down?
Yeah.
Do you think they just threw it on there and didn't think about it?
I don't know. You never really know with Jagex, to be honest. It depends which JMod did it, I think.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
I think
because he released it. Sorry.
Yeah, Kieran
Maybe then.
Thing on it, but I don't know if they thought about how significant it would be, but I think they did it with intent on slowing it somewhat, because I remember pre Kelos update, like you could literally just do full days of just nothing but barrage and you could like almost profit points. I don't know. Personally, I guess I'll take my turn now, but personally I think I kind of agree with Jack. It's nice to see that they're slowing it down a little bit instead of adding yet another thing that just speeds it up. With bracelets and everything like that. More quality of life stuff that just increases Slayer rates. So I didn't mind it being added. I personally have both Worms and Drakes on my block list because I am going to be doing a lot of Konnar for the jar of chemicals. From Hydra, so I plan on doing quite a bit more. I'm like 1000 KC right now, which isn't too high. But I've done a significant amount of other tasks from Konnar as well. I actually made my own little spreadsheet of it for my tasks, where I can actually stick to mainly a boss / barrage meta with just a couple extra like skip tasks and stuff like that. Most of which are like dragon tasks where you get prayer plus you can just use the dragon hunter lance. So it makes them pretty either beneficial because you get the prayer resources from it, or just a fast task with the lance kind of thing. So I don't really mind doing that at all. In general, I think I actually like Konnar. I like the idea that you get a little bit more supplies rewarded, even if they're not like directly beneficial to Ironman or whatever. If you're not going to make cannonballs or something like that efficiently. But I like that you get some more resources for doing a little bit slower Slayer compared to just barrage with Duradel and stuff.
Yeah, just to like further expand on what I said earlier, I think Konnar is garbage, like I said, but I think it's fine that she's garbage because she's garbage for me, which is a basically end game account.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of low to mid level. I mean, it's like really exciting when you get that like what is it, like 400 steel bar drop or something like that.
Oh,
Like that
dude,
probably
you
feels.
get the key. You get the key,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
the key.
and then the drop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
excuse
that's
me.
even better.
It's like opening
Yeah.
a
Jack,
chest. They learned something from Fortnite and like Hearthstone. It's epic.
Jack, when's the loot from 100 keys coming?
I think it's like
I'm burnt, dude,
cool
now.
for low to mid levels, and I think it's fine that she's bad for high levels except for Hydra. So that's
I
it.
agree.
I think Konnar, I like everything about Konnar except for the way she was balanced. I think she's balanced really poorly, and that's why it's a shit Slayer Master. If the
What do
weightings
you mean
were,
by that?
if the like they put drakes and worms and it just wasn't balanced properly, and you get way too many shit tasks. Like nobody wants to go and kill like fire giants at whatever place or whatever. Like there's way too many shit tasks on it, and it's just not a good Slayer Master for high levels to use. I don't know if they should take. I don't know. Like it's just the way that it's being put into the game is really lame, and it's not fun to do. Because I
Are you not?
Sorry, what's that?
Oh, I was just gonna ask. Are you not a fan of the areas to kill those monsters, or are you not a fan of those monsters?
Probably a mix of both. Because it's just I end up skipping like 10 tasks in a row to get anything remotely good. It's just all my points are gone. Because I just end up with like aberrant specters in the Slayer Tower, and like that might be okay for most people, but there's no way I'm doing that.
Yeah, but that's why, like, she's garbage for you, but maybe for someone who's casual, they just want to get the brimstone keys and they don't mind, like, killing dust devils in the whatever dungeon it is in the desert, killing 180 dust devils in the smoke dungeon. Like, maybe that's exciting for them because they want to get all the steel bars.
It just feels awful, man. When you're doing Konnar Slayer and you skip 10 tasks in between. I don't know, not a fan.
Yeah, I think she's kind of fine how she is, where, like I said, she's a conduit for Hydras for the high levels. And then for low to mid levels, she's an optional Slayer Master you can do if you want to get slightly less XP rates, but you want to get your epic brimstone keys and open up the treasure chests.
I think it's really cool how she gives a lot of points, because like every 50th task we do Konnar or whatever to get like extra points. I really like that. And I think they went really overboard on nerfing the drops. Like I wasn't playing actively, I was like flatlined when Konnar came out because I had a lot of stuff to do IRL. But when Konnar came out, I saw people like crying on Reddit and Twitter and oh no, Sick Nerd got 300 Torstals. Like sure, they implemented it poorly, but they like way overdid the nerf. Like, it didn't need to be such a knee-jerk reaction to Reddit.
Yeah.
And then another thing people don't think about with stuff like that is that the only people who post the drops they get are the people who get the torsos and stuff.
Yeah.
Like nobody gets 50 steel bars and posts it on Reddit. Like, look at this awesome drop I just got from Konnar.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd think they would have learned from revs, like 100 D legs. You can't just put in massive like 2.5k brew drops. No one's gonna like that. Like they could have
even
added,
if it is so rare.
Like if they just made the drops like less quantity but more common, and just made it exactly the same amount coming into the game, people wouldn't have cried so much.
Yeah,
but,
I agree.
Anyway,
the knee-jerk reaction was just too much, but it needed something, but not that much. So yeah.
So you guys think it was unbalanced when she first came out?
Yeah. I don't think anyone would really argue that. Because if you're like a level 80 Ironman and you get the 2.5k brews, like who the fuck's gonna say that's fair?
Let's leave that drop out because they said that was an accident. That wasn't supposed to be in the game.
Alright.
So aside from the 2500 brew drop, do you think she needed to be nerfed?
Yeah, wasn't there like 200 Torstals and stuff like that?
I did one neck task and I got 400 snaps and 200 Torstals.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
While getting 115k an hour. Slayer.
Nobody's gonna say that's fair. Like, I don't know. I think it was cool, the concept of like adding these random drops or whatever, but they didn't implement it well. And now it's just a shitbox to use.
Yeah, I think they could have. I think they could have kept the herbs on there though, but just reduced them a bit.
Yeah, or made them more rare, like one or the other. They didn't have to just delete them off the table. Because if you make it a really rare drop, then when you get it on your low level Ironman, it is really, really exciting. But like, it shouldn't be something that you just expect to get because it's really common. So I think they just like went from one end to the other and just went from being overpowered to just useless, pretty much.
Yeah, even like if you reduced it to like between 10 and 20 or something like that heck, if I got a 10 Snapdragon drop like during my task, I'd be fucking happy, you know?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, especially if you're low to mid level, which is who it's aimed at.
Exactly.
Like when you don't have unlimited prayer pots and stuff, when you get those Renars and snaps, you're like, fuck yes, like it feels really good. But now when you get steel bars, you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like you save me a few minutes in the future, I guess. And you get some gold ore, you're like, oh, cool, gold ore.
Okay.
Nothing exciting like, whoa, 50 snaps. But yeah, we can move on.
I just want to talk about the lance real quick because we didn't really talk about that. What did you guys think of the lance? Is it good? Is it fair? Is it OP? I think it's a little bit broken.
On Ulm, I think it's a bit stupid.
I honestly thought it was going to get nerfed like right after. You remember when Tebow came out and it got nerfed like almost right away? Or something like it got capped or whatever with the magic level after like a week or something of it being out. I thought that was going to happen with the lance. I thought it was going to get nerfed because it was just so good.
I think they must be happy with power creep if they're adding the lance to the game because it like a lot of end game PVMers, all they do is raid anyway, or like those sort of activities, and that's where it's like mostly useful is raiding. Like I know right now I'm just killing Hydra until I get lance because I need it because I'm doing so many thousand chambers of Zerek. It's like I'd be stupid not to get a lance, but yeah, I don't know. They must be happy with some sort of power creep. Not saying a lot because it's not insanely broken. I don't want to like make it seem like it's a really OP weapon. Like on Vorkap, for example, I think it's very fair. Like it's very well balanced for Vorkap. Like it's about the same as a Dragon Hunter crossbow, but Ohm is a bit too strong. And
yeah, I think at least Rapier should be better than the lance at Ulm.
Yeah, Rapier like has no use on an efficient Ironman now.
Yeah, my goals totally changed. Like I went from trying to grind out a Rapier, and now I'm like, okay, well I guess I've completed Theater, so I don't need a Rapier anymore.
Wait, really? Do you not need it for Slayer at all?
Oh, not really. I'm sort of done. Like I've sort of got like 200 mil strength, so I don't really need to worry about it for XP. It's just I wanted to make raiding faster.
Talked with Zewas about this like 2 nights ago, how he just got Rapier, and then that's like, well, where do you use it now? You just barrage and use lance.
If you're Jack, you melee task. But
yeah, exactly.
Rapier should have more uses, but yeah. Okay, let's move on. What are your predictions for changes to the meta? Alrighty. So what do I think will change?
Are we just gonna go past that?
Hello? What? Did I skip a question?
This man said he melees gargoyles, dude. You just blew past that.
Yeah, move on.
Anyways.
Fine, man.
Alright, what are your predictions for changes to the meta? I'll start. So, what do I expect to get devalued? I think Herblore, farming, safe bets. Maybe not for a year or two, but in the long term, they can't, like, not get faster. So, I'd expect Herblore, farming to get faster. Prayer, obviously. They'll eventually add, like, Vorkap V3 or, like, Zora V8, where they just add another boss, and it's just really good for prayer and crafting and Herblore and all that. So, I think mainly the buyables for Ironman, like what mains would spend money on, is what's going to become faster for Ironman. Like construction, I think will get faster. There's no way I want to train construction when right now the meta is to cut your own logs. I'm just going to wait for Vorkap V8 to come out, and I'll just farm mahogany logs off that boss, or I'll just farm mahogany planks off that boss. You know. So I expect.
Isn't there like a construction boss coming or something, or is that?
Wouldn't surprise me.
I think it's mining.
What other skills do I reckon will get devalued? I think Slayer is really good to do right now, because I think Slayer will only become slower. I said that about, like, last year, I think. Start of last year, I said, unpopular opinion, I think Slayer is going to get slower. And I think they're working towards that, because all of last year, throughout the Q&As, they were saying, the mods were saying they're not a fan of multi-combat Slayer, like barraging Slayer in the Catacombs. Wouldn't surprise me if they wiped the Catacombs completely, so I don't think they like it. Just replace with like a Knave's Cave sort of thing. I could see something like that coming out.
If you make the Catacombs single, is it just dead content?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
probably.
I don't know. Who would have done the math for that?
Everything's like a higher level in there, so why would you melee if you could just go melee somewhere else?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be used if it wasn't. Because it's sort of shown with like Dark Beasts or whatever. Or what else would you melee in there? I don't know. But yeah, I'd expect the Catacombs to either become single combat or maybe removed. And they're gonna maybe try and fix the state of Slayer, because Slayer's a lot of content for the main normies, right? Like, it's mainly what everyone wants to do. They can't have it really fast, otherwise the game dies in a few years. But they could milk it for a few extra years if it's a bit slower. But yeah, I'd expect Slayer to be the only one that would potentially become slower, and everything else will become faster. Especially the buyable sort of skills. And I don't know, smithing's a big one. I wouldn't be doing smithing if I was an Iron Man. And runecrafting as well. I expect some sort of change to runecrafting, because runecrafting is in a really shitty state. Runecrafting and smithing will certainly become faster in the next year, I reckon.
Yeah, I'd say anything right now that involves a shop on an Ironman.
Yeah.
So smithing, is it just smithing now? Because crafting, I guess, if the sandstone thing makes it in. I wouldn't touch crafting right now until that sandstone machine comes in, assuming that passes. But yeah, I think smithing, anything that involves a shop, I wouldn't waste your time on. Agility also, I think they'll probably do something in Prif. Maybe. But people like Roof so much that I think they'd have a hard time pulling people away from just chilling on top of Arty Course. I think runecrafting, basically anything that the people on Reddit complain and make memes about, will eventually be made faster in some way. Most notably runecrafting also. Mining probably too, despite volcanic mine existing. No one on Reddit does it, and so I expect they say right now that boss is supposed to be like low XP per hour and like not good for training and stuff, but I honestly just don't believe them. So I expect something like that to really devalue it. Yeah, it feels weird training like any skill right now because of their trends on multi-skilling and how bad honestly they are at balancing them.
Swimming's
but
ridiculous.
I think Slayer's a really safe one to train right now. Fishing is probably pretty good because there's so many ways to AFK it that most people don't have a problem with it. Fire making I don't think is going to get any faster than, what is it, like 350k right now?
Unless redwoods become attainable from a boss or something. Obtainable. But
Oh yeah, unless Fraser gets a +7 woodcutting boost in the farming guild.
Yeah, if they want to make the redwood trees worthwhile in the farming guild, that'd be great.
Yeah, because that makes sense too.
Yeah, and then I can 1.5 tick them and do some GE by making chrome bonds.
And then what about my +7 farming boost also? Do you think that's a good idea?
Anyway.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, those skills, I just mentioned a bunch of skills, but anything that involves buying stuff from a shop and then anything you see memes made about on Reddit, basically, because it seems like 80% of the suggestions and actions they take come based off what Reddit thinks.
I think you should just emphasize that you're not memeing when you say that. Like, you actually mean that. Like,
no, yeah,
Reddit suggestions are like
here.
very influential. If you see something start to get
like
memed,
we worked with them on crafting and made spreadsheets and stuff and sent them exact numbers and things like on why it was balanced and like did all the math for them to prove to them that it was balanced. And then one guy on Reddit said, like, why would I take granite when I could go do charters for more XP or something like that, when that just wasn't true? And they read that and just buffed the numbers up to a much higher amount than what we originally said. So Reddit has like an insane impact. So
very big impact. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't touch runecrafting unless you're like Jack and just like AFKing Zaya, but you will not see me at like library or lavas or anything that involves effort, because that skill is just going to go down the drain at some point. As far as like safe things, I think like fire making, because they're not going to add a +7 woodcut boost to the farming guild. Fishing, just chill skills. Okay, yep. Anyways, skills like that, and then anything that involves a shop, don't touch. That's all for me.
Yeah, and Lee, you want to finish yourself?
For sure. My thoughts on the matter. I think crafting and runecrafting are two that are going to both be devalued in the future because of the sandstone update, mostly derived from Reddit and stuff like that. And the fact that runecrafting is going to come, like they're looking at alternatives to the Zaya library. There's going to be changes to that in the near future, I believe. But at the end of the day, everyone thinks runecrafting is like the staple slow skill. And people will definitely vote yes on a poll that offers higher runecrafting XP at the end of the day.
Well, they've sort of left ZMI in there for mains, haven't they? So they haven't seen that as problematic, I guess. So I'd expect some sort of...
I think it's for a different reason, though. Like, well, I still see them just making a completely separate method / mini game.
I think they're going to use ZMI being 150k an hour if you're really good at the game and only 10 people doing it, but they're going to use that as justification to make like RuneSpan
like 120k or something,
like 100k an hour AFK. They're going to use like, well, you can do 150k an hour at ZMI. No, you fucking can't.
Yeah, for a bill.
Yeah, I think Reddit will look at it that way, and then Jagex will springboard off what Reddit's saying.
Yeah. Well, all these people are doing ZMI at 200k an hour. Why can't we have 100k an hour AFK? That makes sense.
Yeah. Because it's less effort than paying like 6 mil an hour to get 200k.
No, like I really see that happening though. Like I really see some sort of AFK runecrafting coming into the game, and they'll say, "Well, you can do ZMI for so much an hour." And it's just we can't even argue with that.
Runecrafting is just going to get destroyed inevitably. You see, like all the most upvoted memes on Reddit are how slow runecrafting is and things like that, and it's like it's not even that slow now. Like you can AFK at Zay, you can do ZMIs like lavas. There's tons of different methods you can do, but it's just such a meme and people hate it so much that it's just going to get destroyed. The same exact thing with mining. Even though volcanic mine exists, no one on Reddit does it, so that's going to get destroyed eventually also.
Yeah.
Isn't Souls even like almost 50k now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like high 40k right now. Yeah. AFK.
Which is crazy. Anyways, I'll just wrap up my thoughts. Farming and herblore, I think, are the only thing right now that are actually going to get slower and get revalued, in my opinion, because of my thoughts that they will do something to nerf contracts. As soon as contracts are finished, as soon as contracts have been like taken care of, looked into, and reduced with the loot it's going to give you, I'm going to start switching back to ATAs, but right now I'm taking advantage of Chronos as much as I can to get as many contracts done, to abuse it just while it's pretty much broken at the moment. So I think those two things with contracts, farming and herblore, will get revalued when contracts are looked into.
Okay.
I think one more quick thing. I think Naturally Me made a good point in chat that you have to like think about the methods that the people on Reddit are using also, because they're not doing like granite and stuff and then complaining about mining. They're doing motherload mine for 20k XP an hour and then saying, why is mining so slow?
They do. When we were working with the JMods, they were very careful of like, well, mains are going to be doing MLM for 40k an hour. Like they were like really considering that into like the calcs and the reasoning to add things. So we like, sure, we might look past that because we think who the fuck's going to do MLM and we just all do 4G. But the JMods, when adding updates to the game, they do consider what most people are doing in game and what sort of rates they get. But yeah, let's move on.
A minority.
Let's move on. What? Did I skip a question? All right, yeah. All right, what current Ironman metas would you like to see changed? What is not good? Charmander,
what do you not like doing?
Yeah, like library, for example, will be your answer.
Yep, library is my first answer. I think that it makes absolutely no sense. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because everyone knows how I feel about it. I think I made my opinion vividly clear. I think library is very stupid. Another thing is smithing. I think it's probably the most unfun thing to do in the game right now. Just go back and forth between blast furnace buying gold ore. But I think that if they want to change that, they should leave that as the fastest method and then just add another way that's slower but maybe not as unfun to get gold ore. But that's not going to happen if we ask them to change smithing. It's just going to go up to like 500k an hour. But smithing's something I would like to see changed. Library, also like to see changed. And some like... Excuse me. Something like a different way to do construction would be kind of cool besides build, tear down, build, tear down. I have not a single idea of how they would do that, but I think that would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
That's all for me.
Timos, do you have any ideas for what sort of metas you're not a fan of? What you'd like to see?
I'm not a fan of smithing.
I agree with what Charmin has said. RC is really boring. I wish I could collect essence efficiently and do lavas until 200 mil. That would be really cool. I would also remove the prayer altar. I really hate trading prayer. I don't really care about the 50% extra XP. I want to do it in the POH. Yeah, that's it.
What do you think about mining? Are you worried about sandstone mining or something like that becoming meta with like crafting changes?
I think it will get changed, but I think I'm just gonna do what I want to do. I really like mining, so I'm just gonna mine.
Keep it 4G, yeah.
That's so important also. Just doing what you want to do is just the best way to stay motivated, but anyway.
For sure.
Respect.
Make Marintils great again, by the way, POH.
Yep. Anyways.
Alright, is it me?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like no one else is gonna say this, but fucking alts, Ironman alts, delete them. Remove them from the game.
Alright,
it
so
makes no sense that you can use an alt.
Library is
use
broken.
an alt to have infinite cannonballs. You never have to make cannonballs on an Ironman because you can use an alt with minus 65 range bonus or whatever the fuck it is. I don't even know how it works, but and you can just cannon and get 180k at smokes without making any cannonballs, without using a single cannonball on your Ironman, and it is broken.
No,
anyone here, like,
to be fair though, alts are very broken. I think everyone agrees. Alts are very broken. We all abuse them because you're stupid to not be efficient.
False.
Come on, man. I mean, how
Jack,
are you gonna
stand
argue?
behind the skeleton and AFK for 30 seconds, dude, and lure all the stones into a pile.
I mean, I've seen that easily,
with
Jack.
proselyte.
But he's right there. Like, alts are very strong, and I just there's no real way to fix alts. How would you fix it? Like,
do you have any ideas how you would fix it, Jack?
There is a very good way to fix it.
Okay, make cannon unable to splash.
Make it so when someone hits a 0 on a monster, it doesn't count for the Ironman.
You think that's
even if it's so right? Yeah. So right now, if you hit a 1, then it doesn't count, right? So if you hit a 0, just make it not count.
There'll be some trolling videos on YouTube, like people hopping to Ironman.
Yeah, who cares?
Like, splashing
you can still do it. You can still do it anyway.
Garage, they can't get anything.
Yeah, you can still do it anyway. You just hit numbers.
Yeah, but they'd realize. What if you splash? They wouldn't even realize.
Yeah, who cares? Okay. Fuck Ironman.
Yeah, they could have a level 3 just sit at like you're the monster you're attacking and just walk in and punch it for a 0.
That would ruin any sort of bossing as well.
Yeah, what's the issue? No, it wouldn't.
I think also it's not even that big of a deal on Nex and Dust. Like,
what's the difference between?
It makes a pretty small difference. The biggest issue is Smoke Devils are pretty incredible with an alt, so I think you could just make the cannon not splash and then call it a day.
Yeah,
but anyway,
just do that, like make the cannon not splash, unless they well, obviously they can, but it'd be a lot of work for them, I think.
And I think that might mess up like how people use the cannon and stuff. I think you just upset a different group of people. Yeah. Perhaps I don't know.
I want to go back quickly because Fraser said that like people coming in and hitting 0s would ruin bossing.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
What if you call the kill cell?
Why is hitting a 0 any different to hitting it like a number, which ruins your kill anyway?
Because it makes it easy. You can make like a level 3 ragging ult. Just run to the fucking chaos alley and
a level 3? Really? Are people going to do that?
People will do that, yes.
People are going to make level 3s just to go and find Ironman. Yeah.
It'll become like
Jack,
a thing as well.
May I ask?
Yeah, okay. It's really not... probably not going to happen though, really. Like...
They know Slayer ults aren't an issue. Like,
PKs do
They can just hit... Yeah, people can just hit... Okay, but why would... Okay. But why would they when they can just go in their main and hit a number?
Because I'm angry and rage on Twitter and they love the conflict and drama.
Yeah, but why make a new account when you can just do it on your other account?
Because they'll get banned.
Like, it makes no difference. No, they don't get banned though, really.
They definitely do get banned.
Yeah,
if people rag high-level Ironman repeatedly, they're going to get banned. Like, they're 100%.
Okay,
so
besides
may I
alts, what else would you like to say?
Chaos Ellie, Fraser?
Besides Chaos Ellie? I don't know.
I said, may I ask who is killing Chaos Ellie?
Oh, no, it's just an example.
My
like
boy,
something multi-combat.
Xavier and
like any
Tej
Gold Wars.
both are Chaos Ellie fanatics. So
imagine running into Gold Wars on level fucking 16, just punching it, and then you just die, and now someone can't get the kill. That's so lame. But yeah, I don't know.
What about? Okay, go ahead, Jack. Finish your thought, and I have a question.
Oh no, that's pretty much it. Just alt, delete them.
What about Vorkath? Do you guys think Vorkath is like healthy where it's at right now for Ironman mode? Just as like a meta we'd like to see changed. The entire Slayer meta right now is barrage tasks and then do Vorkath because of how absurd it is.
I mean, isn't Vorkath almost like the old Zulrah, where you used to have to kill like a shit ton of Zulrah for all your S for 200 mil runecrafting?
Yeah, except Vorkath funds all your viables and gets you like tons of passive XP and
it's
stuff.
Slightly different, but now Vorkath is the monster that we kill a shit ton of to complete the game.
Yeah, do you think that's like healthy? Would you guys like to see Vorkath change, or are you just happy with the way it is right now?
I'm happy with the way it is.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm happy that
it's fine.
I'm happy that like really the only other skill it actually affects is like cooking directly, aside from funding the viables and stuff like that. Zulrah was like, I mean, it affected farming, it affected cooking. What else? I mean, fletching, I guess, if you do Jagex, but there's more skills that it actually directly affected, and now it's just kind of money, which is
so
good.
What do we want to see change? Do we want to see changes to smithing, Slayer? What else? Runecrafting?
I don't want to see changes to Slayer, dude. Don't put words in my mouth. Only Jack won't see that.
Yeah, I think Slayer's alright, honestly, but it wouldn't surprise me if people wanted that to be changed. Because I can see why people wouldn't like golds on Ironman.
Smithing is very unfun right now and should be looked into.
Yeah, smithing and runecrafting are at the top of the list of metas that need to be changed.
Yep, and if you want to see a good runecrafting fix, you should check out Diz's idea. Give that
Anyways.
Alright, let's move on to the next question.
Dude, that's a good idea.
It's somewhat related, but what updates would you like to see added to the game? Luke.
I'll go first, I guess. Honestly, I don't really have a huge want for a ton of new updates. I'd kind of rather they slow it down just a little bit. I love big updates and stuff like that, but I'd rather them not come super fast, and we'll talk more about that later. If I had to choose one specific thing for them to add, probably a different runecrafting method.
Timos?
I'm fine with how the game is right now. I really don't want any updates at all. So
yeah, like I think most scholars are like that, aren't they? They just don't want any updates.
I have like 2-3 year plans, and I'm completely fine with just doing that.
A lot of PKs complain that they never get any updates, but like that's what skillers want. Like they're living the dream. It's so good.
Yeah.
No updates.
Did you see my tweet?
Tell me.
Yeah, can we switch?
Yeah.
I tweeted about that. Like PvPers want a bunch of updates and they get nothing, and then skillers want nothing and they get non-stop updates. Like it's so backward.
I don't know. What update would I like to see? Something I like more challenging updates, Inferno-esque updates, things like the Inferno or
That's true.
Theater of Blood. I want less updates, but higher quality and more challenging. Cause
do you want to see hard mode Inferno, Fraser?
No, Inferno's boring. Everyone's done 6 Jads already. Like, move on to something new. Bring on a new challenge.
Agree.
I like the. I think the thing they were planning to add to Prifdinus, like
the gauntlet, right?
Yeah, that needs to be a hard challenge. That can't just be like a farmable easy thing. I mean, it can be obviously, but it'd be so much more fun if it was very hard to do. I just want more challenging updates, and I want them to be less frequent as well. They're adding too many updates, and I saw something on Twitter recently. I think it was a Hey Jace tweet. He was saying that Mod Mark's advice on how the updates should flow into the game, that was pretty relevant. Anyway, I'm gonna move past that, but I just want to see less updates and more challenging updates. So I don't really care what it is, but I just want the game to be left alone, because I think there's so much content to work through for low levels and medium levels that the only content that should be really added at this point to old school RuneScape, what it's meant to be, just leave it how it is just more challenging shit for the really like top end players. I think the medium and low level players have like enough to work through for multiple years. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. Charmander, do you want to finish us up on this topic of updates?
I think it's pretty unreasonable to ask for no updates ever because that's just not how this works. Like, they have to update things. I think the frequency is drastically too high right now. Something is pretty much devalued or broken every single week, and then also there's bugs and stuff every single week without fail. Like, they're rushing them so fast that even the QA testers like can't keep up. I think something like maybe one update a month on like new content, and then one update where they look back at something that people want changed or something like that. So 2 total changes to the game per month would be a far healthier pace than adding just 4 new things to the game every single month and then disguising quality of life as just changing a bunch of things and making it faster. If you just did like a real quality of life, like 1 to 2 month period of what's actually quality of life updates every year, I think that would go a long way also. But the speed at which they're just forcing stuff into the game has just become so fast that even they can't keep up with it now. And every Thursday there's just inevitably, a bug or something that people didn't think about, like attaching a Vorkath head onto your Vorkath cape. Like, why did no one think to test that? You can just add a Vorkath head onto any cape. And it's because the speed at which they're shoving things out is just too fast. So take a step back, and like 1 to 2 updates a month I think would be healthy.
Before we finish this topic of updates, I just want to say that I was listening to Mod Matt K, I think it was last night or the night before on the Q&A or birthday stream, whatever it was. Mod Matt K was saying they always like to put out one large update in January, one large update in June, and one large update in September. So there's 3 big updates they do every year. I would be happy if they just stuck to that, and then in between they just did like bug fixes and small shit and just made PvPers happy. Because if they just did like 3 big updates a year, like they say they will, like that's their main focus at the company, is to put out 3 big things, January, June, and September. If they just stuck to that and just added like small things throughout the year and worked on more competitive things even, I think would be really good for the game, like reviving LMS and shit like that. Okay, I think I'll answer that. I'd like to see PvP reworked and made more interesting for them, because that community needs some content and we don't. So I'd like to see more shit for PvPers. But I'm going to move on from this because we're going a bit slow. So what are your thoughts on the current state of old school Ironman? I'd like some short answers here. So I like it, it's good, or it's rapidly becoming really bad, which will be my answer. Timos, what do you think of the current state of old school Ironman?
Currently it's fine if they don't change anything, but I feel like updates get added way too quickly. And that's probably because the team gets bigger, and if they don't add updates, everyone is going to get fired. So it's also because a lot of normies are going to playing the game.
Overall, you're pretty happy with how the game is?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Even contracts you think are good?
No one thinks that.
I mean, that's a small thing. I think we're talking about overall mostly.
Yeah, just overall, like, it's a fun game to play, right? Like, it's pretty healthy, pretty fun. Not too fucked right now. Soon to be really fucked. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'll wait till my turn.
It's good. Like it. Having fun still.
Still
just
good game to play?
Just delete the alts, you know.
Alright. Amanda.
Yeah, I think it's pretty shit right now and going in a pretty bad direction.
They need to
it's
make
really
changes.
fun to play. Don't get me wrong, like I love logging in and playing every single day and I have fun, but my mentality has just become ride the wave. Like, stop trying to fight all the updates and ruining of skills that comes into the game, and just if it's in the game, just abuse it to its maximum potential.
Yeah,
because
I think they broke us. Like, we used to be like fighting the updates. Now we're just like, yep, the game is just inevitably devalued and nothing we can do about it. Just abuse what's broken.
There's like some stuff that never should have been added into the game, like Zaya AFK runecrafting. Just
Wintertot, for example, that's a fucked update. Wintertot was the worst update ever.
Yeah. Like, there's a bunch of stuff in Zaya that's just too far gone for us to be able to, like, try to get them to remove. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Levine, but I think it's faster to max an Ironman now than it was to max in main when the game came out, I think is what Levine said the other day.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
I think
probably pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really bad look for the game. I know they're not supposed to, make updates catering to Ironman, but it's become such a big game mode that
they said that years ago. Their opinions changed now. They make updates for Ironman. People just have to accept
they
that.
just make a statement that says we retract what we said. Like, the game mode is so popular now that we have to make updates for Ironman, because you can't keep making try to make content that's good for mains and good for Ironman.
Some
because
updates
all
will
that
just be Ironman
happens
updates.
is and then if you try to make it good for mains and good for Ironman, then what generally happens is it's just busted for Ironman, and then mains don't do it. Like Snapegrass, for instance, if that's what they were going for. Mains are never going to farm Snapegrass. So they made the XP high and gave us a secondary, and so now you've just made it extremely broken for Ironman because we get passive Snapegrass and absurd XP rates. So I think the best course of action is just retract the statement of updates aren't catered toward Ironman, and just revalue some stuff. Like contracts, why are contracts still the way they were when they were first released? Like how much data do you need to understand that they're beyond broken?
No, they understand that. They've acknowledged that. They've said that to us. They've said contracts are broken and we will change them. They have straight up said that. But I just don't know why it hasn't happened yet. What the fuck? But anyway.
Yeah, just a quick change to make pre-planting not work or something. I can't imagine that takes a bunch of engine work. Just throw that into the game while you come up with another solution, because now people have you should pretty easily have 300 plus contracts right now if you've been doing them casually since they come out. And that's just so much free XP that you never should have gotten because of how busted contracts are, and then just things they keep adding to the game that are really making the game mode to a point where I don't like using the word casuals, but casuals are playing Ironman mode and then complaining because it's too slow. And Jagex are catering to them instead of understanding that it's supposed to be slow.
Yeah.
The game mode is literally supposed to be slow, and you get stuff yourself, and slower XP rates all across the board and things like that. And
let's wrap this up, Amanda. Just say what you think of the state of the game, because we need to move on to other questions.
I'm gonna go on a rant, dude. Levine told me to preach.
You can rant later. There's more questions to rant on. Just what do you think? Do you think it's a good game?
It's fun, but I think it's going in a really bad direction.
Yeah,
That's all.
I agree with you.
My thoughts, I think it's probably the state where I've had the most fun I've ever had at the moment. Like I said, I'm currently doing TOB and stuff like that, and I love doing it with friends. I don't know. Probably some of the most fun times I've had are current and recent times in the game. But I don't know. I don't really have too many thoughts moving forward, but right now I'm having a lot of fun. So
I just think updates are concerning. That's the only thing that concerns me. I think right now it's not too fucked. There's a few things that are really wrong with the game that we've already talked about to death, like library and contracts, but they'll be changed eventually, and they just need to slow down the updates. But let's move on. The polling system. What do we think of it? Does it need to be scrapped? I would say yes, it needs to be scrapped. I think the polling system was very good when the game came out, and when they implemented it, I think it was very useful to interact with the community, see what people wanted. And the one thing that I'll always repeat is that I think when the game came out, everyone had the health of the game at the forefront of their decision making. So people will vote on polls when it first came out as hey, I think that's not healthy for the game. But now it's sort of reached the point of everyone's just voting for what helps them. And that doesn't give you any good results. That doesn't end up with anything useful or good. And people don't even understand what they're voting on a lot of the time. They don't lay things out in clear detail of this will be the XP and narrative method, or I think polling was useful and it's no longer useful because we have too many normies. We have too many casuals, and people aren't voting for the health of the game anymore. They voted for the health of the game when the game came out, but now they just vote for what helps them, what makes the game easier, what makes the game faster, and that's not good for the game. So I think polling served a purpose when everyone cared about the game, but people just play it for people don't expect the game to last another 5 years anymore. I don't know. I think the polling system, it's not particularly useful anymore. I think it's a bit outdated, and I don't have any good suggestions for improvements that people won't like. People, my opinions are pretty controversial on polling. I think noobs shouldn't be allowed to vote. I think only the high-level players, or people that have played a lot of RuneScape, not even just high-level, you can be a shit player, but you just play a lot of the game, so you've got an informed opinion. I just think people that have a lot of playtime on the game, not even high level, you can be level 3, but just say you have a lot of playtime, then I think your opinion's more valuable and more important. But a lot of people won't agree with me, and I get that, so I just think it should be scrapped. I think the polling system is no longer useful. And I think they have a large enough team where they can make useful updates by themselves without any help from the community.
Yeah, I'll just quickly say I think the polling system, people just vote for whatever makes skills faster and less work for them, as opposed to is this healthy for the game. So I think you should just completely remove the polling system and have Jagex talk specifically, if it's realistic, specifically to the group of people they're affecting, or at least a portion of them, and make updates based off that, as opposed to asking me if I think a peer should be able to equip Dragonhide chaps. Like, I have no fucking idea.
Well,
I just vote yes.
Not even that. I'd be happy with them still talking to the community, but it shouldn't be a poll anymore. It should be like a large Discord or maybe, I don't know, Twitter post, and they read people's tweets, or they read Reddit. Like, they still interact with the community and receive feedback, but it shouldn't be a vote anymore. Like, some things will just not pass, but should pass, and some things won't pass when they should. I don't know if I mixed up my words there, but you understand what I mean.
Yeah, especially with the influx of mobile players who just play for fun as opposed to... I mean, I play for fun, but all they want is to make things faster and easier for themselves.
Yeah, I don't like that they can
I think
vote,
it's a garbage system.
Yeah.
I wonder what percentage of the players vote. I feel like no one votes on the polls.
I don't vote. I've never voted, really.
Yeah.
It's not worth my time.
I haven't voted in over a year and a half.
So they're just receiving noob feedback on noob people that are voting. And some people vote to troll. Like, it's just not as good system anymore. They should
Why
just...
don't you guys vote?
Because...
Do you vote?
I vote.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say why I don't vote, and it's a very selfish reason, and it's just because my vote out of 50,000 changes nothing. I know if everyone had that mentality, it wouldn't work, but it's just, I'm wasting ticks, I'm being inefficient, it's not on the website. If I could vote on the website, that'd be sick, but they've not added that for whatever reason. For multiple years, it's been suggested, but I have to go in-game and vote. Like, what the fuck am I doing that for a useless
You would vote
vote?
if it was online?
Yes! I do a million things when I'm online. I'm not about to waste like fucking 50 ticks to go vote.
Well, the reason I don't vote is because...
so many polls. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, the reason I don't vote is because I know that my opinion is the unpopular one, so it has no chance of passing anyway. So why would I waste my time voting when everything's going to pass
They still
regardless?
need to communicate with us. Like, they need to be on Reddit and Twitter and Discord and things like that, and talk with the players in the community, and be on Twitch and receive feedback all the time, but it shouldn't be in the form of polls anymore. Polls are useless now.
I guess I'll just say my thoughts on it. I don't mind the polling system as much, but a couple of things need to change. Like, they need to hide the poll results if they're going to keep the polling system. That can't, like, there's no way they can keep that. That's just dumb. People just vote with the mob mentality kind of thing. So if they keep that, they need to hide poll results. Other than that, I don't really mind it too much. But they need to also keep in mind that if they're going to keep the poll system, they need to actively seek out feedback from the affected communities, which is something I think was lacking in the recent qual polls and stuff like that. So I don't mind the poll system, but need to take more feedback.
I think they should remove the polls, but I don't also trust the team on adding updates. Like, the shit they put on devlogs is just, sometimes it's really dumb. So I don't know what the solution would be.
And Jack, you want to wrap us up on the topic of polls? Oh, I just stretched my screen. Jack, is your mic muted, my dude?
We can just move on.
Let's just move on anyway. I think we've beaten that to death.
Basically,
Third-party
polls
clients.
suck.
Yeah, polls suck, remove them. Third-party clients. Are they too broken? Are they problematic? Are they overpowered? What do we think, Charmander?
Quick answer, I think RuneLite has some stuff that's overpowered, like the dev mode and being able to, like, inspect tiles. And, like, in Settle's latest vid, how he's able to, like, bypass the bog by examining the different tile IDs and stuff like that.
I just want to say that's always been in the game. From 2014, 2015, that's always been a feature for some people to use. It's only been available to, say, 50, 100 people, but now it's available to everyone. So, yes, it's problematic, but it's always been problematic.
Was there a different client that people were using? Like, how did those people do it?
Well, yeah, they make cheat clients all the time. Like, there's been a client since, like, 2015 that shows you the right door for pyramid plunder. Like, you just get insane thieving rates. You'll get banned. It's not fair.
Problematically overpowered.
People have access to it, but it's just it hasn't been widespread until recently. I just wanted to clarify that point.
I think the dev mode in RuneLite should just be scrapped because making that information widely available to the public is just stupid in my opinion. As for like the quality of life stuff, like being able to remove item names off the ground, I think that stuff's really cool and useful because Jagex is not going to do that stuff. It takes them like 3 years to make a small update. So I think RuneLite doing things like removing XP drops, like post 200 mil XP drops and stuff like that is cool. And I've used the client for so long that it's basically a crutch right now, and I feel weird when I open up the original client. So I think the dev mode, I'm speaking specifically about RuneLite because that's the client everyone uses. So I think dev mode's dumb. I think the rest of the stuff is fine.
I do agree with that. Charmander kind of already said it, but delete that dev mode. It just makes the stuff that's insanely overpowered like way too widely spread available to the public. The fact that you can make your own plugins is literally stupid. I've actually been using a friend's Hydra plugin, which like counts it for you, and it's so brain dead.
Plugin?
Oh, what the fuck? I need that.
The lizard plugin, Luke?
No, it's a custom plugin that my friend made. That literally just counts it for you. It's how the demonic gorillas have like the counter for their attacks.
Yep.
It's the exact same counter that it uses, and it just gives you the Hydra ticks, so you know when to switch your prayers at Hydra, pretty much.
Why has nobody told me about this? You guys are shitty friends.
Because it's private. like these are things that people have made individually themselves, and they're able to use it in the dev mode.
Also, I don't think Jagex wants that to be a thing because you can't do that at Vorkath. Like you can't use a client to count the Vorkath attacks right now because they hid that information or something. So I think that's the reason RuneLite hasn't added it already.
Yeah, so basically delete that. But I think third-party clients are pretty necessary for the game just because how shit the old school client is. So, yeah.
I think some plugins are overpowered. I think there is a Gorilla plugin with all the overlays and tells you what to pray. I'm not really sure. I like the shift config plugin. Bank tags are pretty cool. Yeah, I don't think I would be able to play without RuneLite, to be honest. The normal client isn't really good. And Jagex isn't going to do anything about it because, well, the RuneLite devs are basically doing free work for them because they don't have to change the regular client. So I don't think anything will get changed.
Yeah, the Jagex employees use RuneLite too. Everyone knows it's good.
I just want to comment quickly. Levine asked what's shit about the old school client in chat. My issues with them is they don't have basic stuff, like things that don't really affect the game at all. Overlays. For example, things like a ground overlay. You see items on the ground. Removing XP trackers. Just basic things like that. Even built-in high scores, like Trisk said. Just small things like that have no effect whatsoever on the game.
I mean, even SwiftKit had it.
That is such a nice...
2005.
Yeah, SwiftKit things.
Like bloody hell, come on. It's 2019.
So yeah.
Alright, I think we'll just wrap this topic up. Third-party clients, I think they're very useful. Everyone's using them. Jagex would have worked on their own client if they wanted that to be the thing. But I guess they're happy with third-party clients being a thing, because I've said this before, I think it's pretty well known now. In 2015 at RuneFest, Foxy Boxy, who was the developer of Conduit, he offered to work on the vanilla client, the Jagex client, for free, and Matt K just said no. So they're happy with third-party clients being the way that people play the game, obviously, from that answer in 2015. They've never worked on the client, they've never actually tried to work on the client. So with that in mind, I think QOL, is done a lot better on third-party clients than it is by Jagex themselves. Quality of life, left-clicking travel on some NPCs, or left-clicking trade, or things like that are actually QOL, I don't know, things with fishing spots or shift click, all of that's sort of done through RuneLite now. So whether that's a good thing, spots
is such a small one that you really notice when you go to the old client. Just little tiny things like that.
That's quality of life. You don't even realize it's not part of the game until you try the shitty client. I don't know. Quality of life,
Yeah.
I like being on third-party clients. I think Jagex are okay with that as well. So I think they should leave sort of quality of life to that and just make small little bug fixes in between big updates. But third-party clients, they're really problematic and broken. Especially the PKing ones, like Exilent or whatever it is. Shows you like multi-lines and freeze timers, shit like that. This is so broken. It's not fair. Like when Herbivore came out, there was like Runelight. So when Herbivore came out, Runelight wasn't being used very much. It was used by the minority, and we thought people would get probably banned for using Runelight. But like Runelight showed the correct Herbivore track before you even clicked anything. Like, it was really broken. That shouldn't be in the game. Things like that should never be in the game. Just things that you can't actually see or do yourself playing the game. So I think they're a bit problematic, but I think they're an important part of the game. Alrighty.
Yeah, it's been so long with them that it's going to be hard to just take them away from people.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Yep.
This is a question we ask every podcast, but people like to hear it. So, how do you balance real life and RuneScape, and how much do you play RuneScape? Timos, would you like to start?
How do you balance? I try to be locked in all the time. So I go to school at the moment, so I try to be in like my zone during class. Like when I'm cooking, in real life I'm at Redwood. I always try to be locked in, but I always try to prioritize my obligations. How much do you play? I think I don't know how many hours I play. Right now I'm not really playing as much as I want to, but I'm a bit busy, but that's because of the bingo coming up. So
fair enough. Me personally, I work a couple jobs. I'm also full-time at school right now in my last year at university. And I have 2 part-time jobs, like I said, probably adding up to about 25 to 30 hours a week. Call it 30 hours a week average, plus full-time school. So in generally, I'm fairly busy, but like Timos, I do zone as much as I can. If work permits it, or if I'm in class, stuff like that. I do try and go to class and focus there, because that's the only way I learn. I don't like online learning, so I'd like to focus as much as I can while I'm there at class, so I'd like to just be in Nightmare Zone when I'm doing that. But other than that, how much do I play? Probably on average about 5 hours a day, maybe.
Alrighty.
Plus zone on the side. So
I think everyone's answer to how do you balance RuneScape and real life is sort of put real life first, but sort of AFK things on RuneScape on the side. Nightmare Zone is the best example. I think will be most people's answer. Is that like you can live a perfectly normal life and just pull out your phone like for 10 seconds every 20 minutes and just Nightmare Zone, like repod. Like you're just completely like you wouldn't even have to think about RuneScape anymore. Like it's completely, you can just live real life and just on the side you can be Nightmare Zoning, which I mean I've done. I've got like 200 mil attack, 170 mil strength. I do a lot of Nightmare Zone and it doesn't have any impact on my real life at all. Like I just live life normally, and if I need to do something, like I'm on a drive, I'm not going to pull out my phone and zone, so I'll just like log out for an hour or something. Or if I'm doing something that's important and I can't pull out my phone, I'll just not worry about it. But when I can, I'll be zoning or AFKing something on RuneScape, or if I'm studying for school, I'll be AFKing Blood Runes or Crown Bonds or something like that. I just AFK things on RuneScape when I can, and I always put real life first. So like I've sort of flatlined for the past few weeks. I've been really busy. I got married and things like that. I've been doing a lot of traveling and a lot of holidays and things like that. So I've not been logged in at all. Like I just flatlined for like 3 weeks, I think it was. But after that, like I just sort of zone when I'm still doing things, but I have access to my phone and it has no impact on my life at all. And it's in terms of how much I play RuneScape, recently not at all, but normally probably 50 hours a week, 40 hours a week, something like that. If you count Nightmare Zone, I probably am logged into the game probably 90 hours a week, but I'm only playing like 40 of it or 30 of it. Yeah, I don't play a whole lot of RuneScape, but I just make sure I AFK things when I can.
I'd just like to add quickly before you go, Charmander. It's really nice sometimes to just take like a little break. Like I don't mind. Like I live with my girlfriend too, and it's really nice to just take a break from everything sometimes and just spend some time with your significant others, spend some time just hanging out with friends and stuff like that. And even if you are like logged into Nightmare Zone, fair enough. But
it's fine to log out.
Just allowing yourself a different mindset, just to be like away from the game for a little bit, is really healthy, I think.
That's really good for not burning out as well. Just taking small breaks, even if it's just like an afternoon with your significant other or your parents or something. But anyway, the way I balance it is kind of like Timo said when he started. Just make sure you're locked in when you're logged in, that you're never bank standing, that you log in with a purpose and make your time count. Try to do efficient methods if you're worried about things like that. I have a pretty limited amount of time since I have a full-time job, so when I'm logged in, I try to be as efficient as possible to make the best use of my time. My zone at work, I have a pretty important engineering job. Like the things I do matter, and so I can't just like AFK barb pond or something like that at work. So zone's really nice for me. The amount I play RuneScape is 8 hours every day at work, and then usually 4 to 5 when I come home. So probably 12 hours a day, probably 90 plus hours a week logged in.
Yep.
Actually playing probably 40 to 50, just like Fraser said.
Is Jack back yet? Yeah, there you go. All right. Yeah. How do you balance real life and RuneScape, and how much do you play the game?
Oh man,
you don't have enough views. It's easy.
Yeah, well, full-time YouTuber, so
so he has no time management. So move on to the next question.
All right, bro. Whatever.
So
Shut up. Okay. When I do stuff in real life, the one time a week I do, I don't bother really doing Nightmare Zone. I actually have never done Nightmare Zone on my account other than for imbues. So that's kind of interesting. It's never really been something that I've wanted to do. Just can't be asked usually. I don't even have Chrome Remote or whatever it is.
Do you just play Abbey Demons instead, man?
So I don't know, but when I'm at home, I usually play like 8 hours or something, probably.
Alrighty. Now on a similar topic. Okay, QOL updates. I think I got the order mixed up on our sheet. Are we skipping past that? Alright, yeah, let's skip past that.
Yeah.
Which Ironman do you think have the potential to get 200 mil all? So I think realistically, I think Hyga will. I think Dids might.
Hold on. Let me interrupt. What's like the time frame we're discussing here? Like before the game dies, or within the next few years, or what?
I reckon before in the next few years. Oh, okay. Well, before the game dies. I don't think the game will die for another 5 years.
Yeah, I agree. 5 to 7 years. Okay,
yeah, so let's say in the next like 5 to 7 years. I think Hyga's very realistic. As an Ironman, I think he's on track. He's sort of got it in mind. He's plays a lot of RuneScape, and I think he's probably the most realistic of anyone. Hyga will complete the game. Aside from him, I think Paperbag will. I've said it before. He's an Ultimate Ironman. He's been playing the game a lot since even the original 2007. Like over 10 years now, he's been doing the RuneScape grind. I think Paperbag, even though he's an Ultimate, I think he will get 200 mil all very slowly, but I think he will do it. Dids maybe. I don't know. I've spoken to Dids. He has no real plans to do that. He sort of wants to do things in real life and like that, but I think he's sort of someone that could. Who else could do it? Maybe Nex. I don't know. Probably really slowly though. And maybe Sam. Sam's been doing the RuneScape grind for a long time. Yabata, one of the leaders of Olympus. He's got a real life. He has a full-time job and he's pretty social person in real life, but I think he'll still get 200 mil all just because he's been doing it for so long and he just AFKs things. So yeah, those would be my answers.
I agree with most of those. I think the people with the highest potential are the people who have been logging in consistently for an extended period of time.
Long-term players.
Rather than the people who, drop huge weeks and then burn out for months at a time. I think realistically they won't complete the game. But the people who have been just consistently dropping like 30 to 60 EHP weeks since the game mode came out definitely have the highest potential. And I think for sure Dids and Higer, the way they view the game, and you can tell they enjoy it and they're good at it. I'd be very surprised if both of them didn't get it.
Well, RuneScape's just sort of become part of their routine, hasn't it? Like part of their life. It's just when they like. I know when Dids heads to work, he's just still on RuneScape, just AFKing something. Like with that sort of mentality and that sort of routine, I can't see him not completing the game, even if he has real life.
Yep, agree.
Timos?
Higer, Paperback, maybe Kalon.
Oh, Kalon.
Yeah.
Oh,
That came out of left field.
Yeah, man.
He could do it.
X. He said he's waiting for Vanilla WoW to come out.
Okay. Was that it, Timos?
Yes.
I have a short list. I think Dids will, Higer will, Saunders, if you know him, Ultimate Ironman, Katie Ferry, Kalon, and Zekin.
Zekin's a good pick. I actually would include that as well. He's a
They've all been super consistent so far, I can say. And if Kalon stops freaking out about his account security, then I think he's good.
Check.
I think new up and runner HC Kamza will probably do it. I think he'll probably get rank 1 hardcore pretty soon, actually.
I don't think he'll even get 2 mil, let alone 200.
Seriously though, obviously Higer will get 200 mil all. I don't think anyone doubts that he will.
It's whether he wants to.
I don't really know.
Is the real question. It's just whether he gets bored of the game by then.
I think Aloe probably could. Other than that, I don't really know. I don't really talk to many on the top page, so
I don't think Aloe could. I think Aloe's really burnt. He's not enjoying the game. He's been PVMing a lot. It's just hard for someone to switch so much between playstyles.
I think Sam can do it too.
Yeah, I really think Sam can do it. I know
that's Aryabhata.
Yeah, Aryabhata. He's not putting out huge weeks, but he's just very consistent, and that's all that matters in RuneScape is just how consistent you are.
Yeah, he's consistent. He seems to like have a plan with what he's doing.
And he just loves the game.
I think that's one thing.
I was gonna say Alkan as well. Someone just reminded me in the chat.
Alkan, no.
Nah, because he just fucking plays so much.
He plays too slowly.
Yeah, I know, but he's like he has so much fucking XP, dude.
His main account that's like close to like halfway there or some shit. He's flatlined for multiple months just because he can't put out
content
on YouTube.
That's a main because mains are fucking garbage.
Okay, but he sort of started to do the same with his hardcore or whatever. Like he's just making content on other accounts now. I can't see him sticking out 200 mil. That's such a long goal. How's he going to keep his YouTube
consistently?
No, I bet if he played, I bet in 10 years if he keeps playing, he probably will get 200 mil on an Ironman.
Yeah, it'll be like 10 years down the road, but like he'll do it.
I bet he will.
I think he'll do it, but I think the game will be dead before he could get there. But if we're talking in like an infinite time span, then I think he could do it.
He's certainly someone that could do it. It's just he won't do it because of YouTube, right? I don't think anyone would argue that he can't complete 200 mil. He certainly could. It's a long time.
I think Joshua OSRS actually will also get 200
Moving on.
mil.
So, what did the Olympus leaders hope to accomplish by inviting the JMods to Discord? Oh wait. All right, this one, yeah. What did the Olympus leaders hope to accomplish by inviting the JMods to Discord? So, when the whole sand thing happened... Alright, so I'm just going to lay out what happened, because some people might not be aware. We made an Ironman Skilling Methods Discord. It's got over 2,000 members in it now. It was released not even a month ago. It's a massive Discord. A lot of Ironman use it as their resource to find what the efficient methods are. And we have a section there where people can submit questions, and someone said... Hey, they're thinking about changing how sand works to add sandstone as a way to use your seaweed and all that. How about the sandstone block that's in the quarry? It's in the Anakara's temple to collect sandstone. It's like an insane method to collect sandstone. And like none of us knew about it until we posted it. So we received this question. We're like, okay, well that's a really OP method. So we added it to the Ironman Skilling Methods Discord. Which instantly the whole game knew about it, right? It's all over Reddit, like, holy shit, this is so broken. Olympus have been abusing the bug. Like, we didn't even know about it until it happened, right? And the mods have confirmed that. Like, none of us have any significant amount of sandstone in the bank. But like the only people that knew about this was like when we posted it on the Ironman Scaling Methods Discord. All the Ironmen found out about the way to collect sandstone, and that became a big drama. And after we saw that, we're like, the JMods really need to talk to us about how to implement fair updates and like fair updates. So we posted a tweet. We said this is an open invitation to all the QA analysts and to all community managers to join the Olympus Discord, and we'll make a private channel to talk to all the high-level Ironmen. And it's been working well for the past, I don't know, what has it been, a few weeks? Or 2 weeks, 3 weeks? We've been, since the sandstone thing happened, we've been talking to the JMods weekly at least about updates we think should happen, how to make it fair. And we've just been working with them. And like, me, Heiger, Sam, a few others hopped on voice chat with like Mod Wolf and all them, talking through numbers and spreadsheets of just how to make updates fair. And I think it's been working really well. And the reason we invited them to the channel was just to make sure that the game mode isn't killed too quickly, because we're all really concerned that these updates are coming in too fast and too quickly, and they're not balanced. They haven't been worked on properly. So we just want to help.
Yeah, I think the reason can be tied back to what we spoke with on the polling system. How the better way to do things would be just get rid of the polling system and talk directly to the players most impacted by the updates. Or I said that. I don't know if anyone else thinks that's stupid.
I just want to clarify. We're not saying only talk to us. We're saying talk to the community. But yeah, because some people be like, Olympus just wants them to talk to only them. No, you keep Reddit, keep Twitter, keep all that, but the polling system is useless.
Yeah, like you need to get the PvPers, the PVMers, like everybody needs to be involved. But anyway, that was the reason we just wanted to have create the avenue for them to be able to talk to the high-level Ironmen, the front page people who invest the most time into the game. Not that, I mean, I don't want to say our opinions mean more, but we try to make decisions that are healthy for the game rather than the opinions of Reddit, which is just make everything faster and easier. And I think, I agree. It's been going really well. It's really awesome to see the discussion and get their viewpoint as opposed to just flaming JMods because they didn't do something without knowing the reason they didn't do it. I think it's been really nice to get some insight into things like that. But it's not perfect. I will say it was pretty frustrating to... I wasn't personally involved in the calcs for Sandstone and stuff because I was at work that day. But I know like Sam, Heiger, and Smithy and Dids and a few other people made like a really big spreadsheet to show to them what was balanced and the rates you could expect and how much you could get. And they agreed that it was balanced and good and healthy. And we showed them it was marginally faster than charters if you did it like this way. And then you could do it this way in tick manip to get more XP rates. And then to have them look at that spreadsheet and go with our numbers and then look at Reddit and just change the numbers based off what Reddit
One thing I want to say is we really made it clear to them everything that we meant by all the spreadsheet and numbers, and they fully understood it. We made sure, like, I was on my honeymoon, I woke up at like 9 a.m, I was talking to Mod Wolf on Discord for 2 hours, and then we went and did shit in real life. But like, I spent like 2-3 hours on Discord with Mod Wolf explaining how all the numbers work and what everything meant, and like what casuals would be like I was sitting there on voice chat with him explaining the spreadsheet with Sam and Heiger that like Dids and Smithy and others have worked on. But like, they fully understood all the calcs and all the reasoning for everything, and they just sort of disregarded it because of the Reddit reaction, even though everything we said was completely reasonable and fine, and they agreed it was reasonable and fine. They're really concerned about feedback,
the public opinion,
and the casual opinion as well. Even if it's a really good thing for them, just the normies might not see that it's actually a pretty fair update even for them.
Another thing is the people on Reddit didn't get to see the spreadsheets and stuff that you guys made, and so they're on Reddit making claims that just aren't true. They're like, why would I do this when it's like slower than charters even if I tick manip, which just wasn't the case. But it is a big hassle. Like there's really no good way that JMods can just post all of our spreadsheets and stuff on the news post and tell people like, look, here are the numbers. So like I can kind of rationalize like what it was like for them to get flamed for reducing it such a drastic amount, because they started off just making it 6 times faster, and like Reddit was just okay with that. Like nobody had an issue with 12,000 buckets of sand an hour. Like maybe 5% of Reddit was like, "Why are you doing this?" The rest were like, "Awesome update! Like this is super."
Can't wait to do crafting on my own, man. I need a Fury.
Yeah,
I said something.
Fury the first day.
Yeah, I said on Reddit something like, yeah, okay, good concept, but why does it need to be 6 times faster than what it is already? I got like minus 20 points downvoted, people flaming me.
And then you just reposted a meme and got them all back, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack is the Reddit lord, but I don't know. It was really frustrating for us because we went to a lot of effort to explain all the calcs and everything about sandstone, and then they disregarded our opinions almost. They still took a lot of what we said on board and they still applied that, and they used a lot of our suggestions and feedback and numbers, but they did definitely cater towards Reddit more than us, and that was annoying because we gave the informed opinion and they didn't. So that really upset a few people in our clan.
I think it...
They felt like their time was wasted.
I think that they did take some of our input into account because the numbers that Reddit was asking for isn't what they ended up going with in the current poll. Not even the 6 times thing, but people were saying like it should be X rate per sandstone block and things like that, and they went with lower than what Reddit said. So I think they took some of what we said into account, but it was frustrating for me, and I didn't even like get on voice. I didn't do the spreadsheets. It was just frustrating to see that they took all of our time and spreadsheets and stuff and then just changed it. But it's not going to be perfect. But to close the question off, it is really nice just to have an avenue where we can pitch ideas to JMods. Like Dids had a long conversation with Mod Rock the other day about his runecrafting idea, and they bounced ideas back and forth on how to make it better and what Jagex could realistically do and things like that. And I think having that discussion, and I think having that discussion is really, really important and is a very good sign if they're willing to upkeep it.
Which is really good. Like, I really appreciate Mod Rock doing that. Like, it's awesome. He takes time out of his day to talk to us. But like he learned a lot of things from that conversation, which is like what the whole point of this was. We want the people that are making the updates to be informed, and like Mod Rock is awesome for that. Like he learned a lot from talking to us about how runecrafting works and a lot of the mechanics in the game. So that was a really useful conversation.
Yeah, and like we have I just to wrap this question up. We have generally take the high level opinion and the efficient route and marginal buffs, and then the JMods generally take the casual opinion of just making everything faster. And then we're hoping to be able to meet in the middle somewhere where we're happy with not 6 times buffing volcanic ash or 6 times buffing bucket of sand. And then Reddit's also happy because they don't have to hop around in charters anymore. So I think the end goal would be to find that happy medium.
With this spreadsheet, we did rates for like 99 mining, tick manipulating, 99 mining, AFKing, 80 mining, 65 mining. Like we did rates for all sorts of levels to make it fair across the board. And I was just wondering, Charmander, do you think it'd be okay if I put in the Twitch chat the message that we spent like a few hours working on to send to the mods? Like people would probably want to read that. It's just nothing what the JMod said, just what we said. Anyway.
Just send it to me in DMs and we can move on to the next question and I'll tell you there.
So, is further... Wait, is this the next question? We've skipped a few, haven't we? Alrighty. Should more incentives be given to make skilling the meta for gathering resources? Should resource drops be removed from PVM drop tables? Luke, what do you think?
Yeah, let's hear from the PVMer.
I mentioned earlier that I was a fan of Vorkath being meta because it mainly is focused on GP. I agree with that in terms of like if we're talking purely about skilling and not like boss drop tables in general. But with a skilling mindset, I think bosses should be just mainly uses for GP to come in the game. You should make GP from bosses, which is kind of what Vorkath is. I don't think you should get skilling resources, like Zora dropping 2k pure acids is stupid. You should have to, like in an ideal world, you should have to mine your own pure acid. You should have to, cut your own logs, mine your own ore, stuff like that. I know it in a perfect world isn't really going to happen, but if we can try and get back to our roots a little bit with that stuff, I think that would be, good for the nostalgia of the game. As well as keeping the integrity there.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell me what you think about this. I think the current... Let me try to make this make sense. I think the current Vorkath drops are more OP for the time period we're in than the Zulrah drops were for that time period. Does that make sense? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
I think Vorkath
kind of agree with
now
that.
is more broken than Zulrah in 2015 or 2016 or whatever.
And I
Because
do
you
kind of
make it
agree with
sound
that.
like Vorkath doesn't drop any skilling supplies, but it
Yeah, it does.
is almost half of prayer. It drops all the crafting, a bunch of fletching, a bunch of cooking, and GP to fund all Bibles. Like, it's pretty absurd.
For sure. And like the prayer, I think it's fine. It's a freaking dragon for
Yeah.
like, you know, it should drop bones. With the GP, again, I already talked about that because it's a boss. I don't think it should drop skilling supplies, is what I'm trying to say, kind of thing. Prayer is more of like a combat, but skilling in general, like Runecrafting S and stuff like that, I don't think it should drop stuff like that. And I think resources or gathering skills should be the way of obtaining those.
Yeah, I think I know it's not... Anyway, I think for PVMing versus skilling like ways of gathering resources, what would you think if it's like similar rates for doing both things with similar level of effort? Because I know what people are thinking generally when this is brought up is like, why should you get the same amount of pure essence from AFKing the pure essence mine that you should from doing Vorkath or doing Zulrah? Stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I totally agree. It should be reflective of the effort you put in. So like, don't just, oh well, let's just buff the pure essence mine when it's AFK so you can get the exact same amount that you can get from killing Zulrah for an hour. No,
Yeah.
you shouldn't do that. It should be reflective of the actual effort put in, of course. But I think they should be competitive. You know, where you should be able to get the same amount, if not more, of some other method of obtaining, you know, PRS or something than of killing a boss.
Yeah, and then to take the devil's advocate on my own point, though, is that if they add... I'm just going to make up arbitrary numbers. If Zulrah is 5,000 pure essence an hour, and AFKing the pure essence mine is like 2,000, and then if they make it so that you can 1.5 tick, or like, I don't know, 1 tick the pure essence mine for 5,000 essence an hour, then Reddit is still going to complain because no one is going to do that. So Reddit will just inevitably complain that it's still too slow and they need to make more changes. So I think the perfect scenario would be what we discussed, but I can also understand why it's frustrating for Jagex to try to do things like that, and why it's a lot easier for them to just throw it onto boss tables.
Totally, yeah. I mean, you're always going to have the people who complain that it's not easy enough, or, you know, give me something else that's like AFKable kind of thing. But like, I don't know, there's nothing you can do about those people. You're always going to have that group.
Yep. That's all I have to say.
Alrighty, next question. So I think we're sort of coming to the end here. I've just posted in the Twitch chat Did's Runecrafting suggestion. And our next question is on that. What do you think of it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? It's the Reddit link I just posted.
Oh my god, the picture, dude.
So what do we think of the Runecrafting suggestion, Charmander?
I'm not going to discuss XP rates because I didn't look super into Dids' suggestion, so I can't speak. Like, XP rates would have to be balanced, but I think what he's going for is really awesome. I love the idea of mining and actively gathering our own pure essence again, and then going out and actually making runes to train runecrafting, as opposed to returning books in a library. It just makes no sense. I think it would be really cool for them to introduce some method to really take runecrafting back to its roots, rather than, you know, for mains AFKing at it, not AFKing, but standing at an altar and trading people and using essence is unhealthy, and for Ironman running around a library and returning books is unhealthy. So I think that, you know, mining your own essence and then running it to the altar and getting runes that way would be really, really awesome to do again. So I'm a huge fan of it. I can't speak on the XP rates, but the idea I really like.
I agree with Charmander. I really like this idea, just mining my own essence and doing lavas. That I would love to do that. So I hope they consider this suggestion.
Do you think it's fair? Do you think it's balanced? Have you had a look at it yet? Have you looked at the numbers that he's proposed? It sort of makes ZMI viable, as well as like.
Do we want to give a quick rundown of what it is for people who haven't seen it?
Yeah, like just. Do you mind doing that? Do you
super quick?
Know?
Yeah, super quick. Like you basically, there's like pylons that light up, sort of not at all how Zay is, but there's like little pylons that light up, and you run over and mine it. And I think you get like stackable, like some form of like stackable essence or something you trade in for stackable essence or something like that.
Or shards maybe.
Yeah, it's just something like that.
Something crystal themed.
And then it has to go with Prifdinus, so it's supposed to be crystal themed. And then there's different pylons around the room, and they would sporadically light up, and you would have to mine the one that's lit up to get the pure essence you're going for. It's not pure essence, it's called something else. Perfect essence, I think.
Crystal essence.
Crystal essence. And then the idea is that you would use that crystal essence to make runes, and you would get an elevated XP rate using that essence, I believe is what Dids was going for.
Yeah,
so
that's plus 50%.
Yeah, so rather than AFKing Zaya souls and not even using essence, and then running around a library, like neither of those are good. So Dids tried to bring it back to mine your own pure essence, run it to the altar, and then get an elevated XP rate. And I believe you get the same amount of runes, I'm pretty sure. The only difference is the amount of XP you get. And so the idea was to make it like a viable way to collect our own pure essence, because like no one wants to sit at the pure essence mine and mine all day. And so then the only other logical thing to do is kill a bunch of Zulrah, because no efficient tasks right now give a lot of pure essence. So his idea was go out of your way, mine it, get your own essence, then get an elevated XP rate to reflect the time you spend manually collecting your essence.
Also, I think 2 points that are pretty important to that is the fact that the pylons, it's not just AFK like Zaya runecrafting. When you're mining the thingy, it rotates, so you have to interact with it to mine the essence. And the fact that the essence itself is going to be untradeable, which makes it not affect main runecrafting. Maybe if they want to go like stack it up and go for like a record, sure. But the main efficiency, it won't affect.
And you couldn't use it at fuck, I just got another blue dragon test, dude. And you couldn't use it at ZMI to get like 3 times XP rates trading. Was another big thing.
So I think that's... Sorry, Jack, you go.
I'll just say quickly that I really like it as well. I think it's good both for Ironman and mains, because I think a lot of mains would do this. I know if I was still playing main and I was going for 99 runecrafting, then I would probably do this for sure, because I used to stack up the dark essence blocks in my bank and get like 250k XP an hour or whatever, just crafting blood runes, just for fun. So I think doing this, and it's like really pretty much close to just doing it with regular pure essence anyway. I think it's probably a good method for both main and iron, so it's not just a catering to Ironman update either, which I really like.
Yeah, and I don't think it would be like best for mains, but I think it would be an alternative.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, mains like will still do it.
Zia a bit interactive.
Yeah. For sure. I think it gets, again, I like the suggestion because it gets back to the root of making gathering resources come from their traditional skill as opposed to being dropped by monsters and stuff like that. So I'd like that we're getting back to our roots with traditional style runecrafting. I would hope that those rates that it's put on there are reflective of like if there's any tick manipulation. I'm not 100% sure if there would be.
Yeah, it's like 1.5 tick S. So you'd be 3 ticking the S, but you're saving 2 S at a time.
Pylons?
Okay, so if those rates that we saw in there are considering 1.5 ticking, then
actually I'm not sure about that suggestion. I just remember reading a convo between Rock and Dids about how 1.5 ticking S worked. So maybe I'm wrong in saying that. Sorry, I shouldn't.
Sure, but anyways, regardless, I just I don't want to see like elevated rates because all of a sudden someone has figured out that they can 1.5 tick, but they based it on like AFK rates kind of thing.
Yeah.
So basically, as long as it's reflective of that,
of course, yeah.
Yeah, then I'm very happy with it.
I agree completely with what Luke said in that you finally like runecrafting would be like you're collecting your own resources to do it. Like, even since the release of Ironman mode, the meta for runecrafting has been to kill wyverns for S, right? Well, when wyverns were added to the game. Before that, it was mine your own S. And then wyverns were added, or the drop table was changed, or something like that. And then wyverns were meta.
Yeah.
Since pretty much 2014, or whenever the mode came out.
That was the start of the current drop tables we have.
Yes.
Was wyverns.
So the wyvern change, that's sort of when runecrafting no longer became like collecting your own S to do it, right? You just killed wyverns and then became Zulrah, and now we don't even use S. So it'd be nice to bring it all back to finally using S again as an Ironman, or like collecting your own at least.
Yeah, we don't even get essence from anywhere anymore either.
Yeah.
Like, it's just removed from the equation now.
I think it makes it really cool. I like it a lot. But that's the last of the questions I had on screen, so I'm going to take them off now, but we've got a few more extra. So
I have just something really quick to add to that also was when Dids and, I think it's okay for me to say this, when Dids and Rock were going back and forth about the runecrafting idea, Rock also, I think, Dids, correct me if I'm wrong, but he proposed being able to, like, the pure essence would, like, stack in your inventory or something like that to reduce the time spent running between the bank, like, back and forth, and also speed it up and make it more viable. So that would be another thing. Like, anything that gets us back to mining and collecting our own pure essence, then running it to an altar, I think is a really awesome idea.
But say you're 3 ticking, right? You're like 1.5 ticking, you're saving 2S at a time. You're doing 2,000 lots of that an hour, so 6,000 ticks an hour, and then you're getting 2 times the amount of S, so 4,000 S an hour. That's still nowhere useful. 4,000 S an hour. Even if S was like mined and is stackable, it just wouldn't be. It's in no way worth mining S, even if you were 0 time banking it.
No, he was gonna make it like Karam 1GR now, where you get like 5 at a time.
Multiple, right? Okay,
drastically faster.
I misunderstood that then.
Yeah, no, I didn't clarify also. So it would be like how Karam 1GR, where you fish them and get like an absurd amount per hour.
Like what they've done to Ash, right? You just get a lot of stackable, a lot of it at a time.
Just
anyway, they were just throwing ideas around. Nothing was even close to being thought of, but it was just like, what could we do to make runecrafting viable, like collecting your own S sort of thing. But let's move on to some of these extra questions we've got here. So, what big changes would you like to see in the structure of management, of the game? Think about switching to monthly updates, or the formation of a team that does bug fixes 24/7, or actively updating free-to-play. What would you like to see in terms of like changes to the structure or management of the game? Personally, I want to see a competitive. Sounds cringy, but I just, there's no other real way to say it. It's like an esports team. I'd like to see some sort of Deadman, like, not Deadman, because Deadman sucks now. They've killed it with Withdrawal. I don't think they realized how badly they fucked Deadman mode with Withdrawal, but you can, like, 0 time bank for everyone now. Like, before it used to be, like, maybe 5 skilled players could use the bank all the time. But now you just, like, left-click withdraw all your food. So it's just sort of ruined the game mode.
Like bank fights, right?
And I'm probably, So I'm probably one of the only people that's played a lot of Deadman on this podcast. And that game mode is about bank fighting now. Like, Edge bank should be a safe zone in my opinion, because you just get ragged whenever you tally there. People just want to bank fight you. It's just, that whole mode sucks now. It was really good on release, and now it's just sort of become awful. So they need something else like LMS, or like King of the Skill. They need a new competitions team, or like esports team. I heard it was in the works last year around August. Nothing's happened in the past like 6 months. But I know they want to revive LMS. I hope it does happen. I would love to see it happen. LMS should be reworked and fun and viable, and competitions and tournaments happen, and there should be a PvP tournament thing happening. That's what I want to see in terms of like changes to the structure of management. And I'd like to see them just accept the fact that it's old school RuneScape. Like, things are meant to be clunky and weird, and not everything has to be streamlined, and it's old school. Like, that's what everyone wants to play. That's why it's successful. It's like the old school game we loved. Like, stop giving us all these updates. We don't want everything to be so easy to do. Like, like this week they changed the way attack styles work, so you're always on the right attack style or something. Like, that's just unnecessary. Like, that's just part of the game. That's what we like to play. I don't know. So I'd like to see them focus more on competitions. That's what I want to really want to see. Timos, do you have an opinion on things like this?
I would love to see King of the Skill again. Like, would be fun to try out.
Yeah, that was great.
I didn't do it last time, but it seems pretty difficult to plan out, but it seems really fun to do. Yeah, I agree with monthly updates. Maybe bi-monthly, like every 2 months. I mean, I don't know if they should do bug fixes though. Like maybe they will do more quality of life updates, and we know they can't do those very good. So
maybe less frequent updates is sort of what we want. But I mean, I don't know if they'll ever change that, but it'd be nice.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Maybe less frequent updates, or just give, I don't know, maybe a bigger QA team, just so that stupid little bugs like we see almost every week don't actually have a chance to get through. So maybe like once every 2 weeks or something, an update instead of once a week would even be just a bit better. But that's all my thoughts on that, really.
For sure. I personally think, I don't think free-to-play really needs updating. It's free-to-play is, I guess, the most pure like part of the game. I don't really think it needs touching at all, but I do think that they should have a team in place to go try and fix more of the existing content. It doesn't need to be like the whole team. Like I realize they still need to make new content and stuff to to market the game, to keep people interested, etc. But I do think there needs to be a small team, even if it's just a couple people who dedicate most of their work time to actually looking at some of the things that need to get fixed that people are asking about. For example, things like Chamber of Xeric's quality of life that were in the game for like over 2 years and finally got looked at very recently. Small bug fixes, stuff like that. So I think a team like that would be very valuable. And I also do like the fact now that they're hiring more community managers. The fact that we have more than one person, like just Aiza, is nice, kind of thing, because Aiza was put under like so much pressure, and he did a good job in my opinion with what he had to work with. But the fact that we have like 3 community managers now is kind of nice. So we have different people to discuss with, different avenues.
Is there really 3?
Yeah, Acorn is the most recent one.
Acorn? I thought she was anti-cheat.
She's now the CM,
cool.
yeah.
Okay.
We have Sween and Gambit.
Yeah, right. Cool.
So yeah, that's my thought.
Charmander, do you want to wrap this up? Changes to the structure or management of the game?
Yeah, the only thing I have to say is I think substantially less frequent updates. Like I said, 1 to 2 times a month is probably plenty. I mean, ideal for me is like 5 to 6 times a year, but I know that they get a spike of players when big updates come out, so they feel pressured to constantly be churning stuff like that out. So I think a happy medium would be, 1 to 2 a month. And then if they do 1 to 2 a month, they won't need a ninja team for bug fixes, because like I said in chat, the people who are supposed to do QA testing would actually have time to QA test things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm assuming that it's time. That's the reason that all these things like slip through the cracks and aren't caught. So if you give them more time, we'd run into less like GP glitches and people getting defense XP on their peers and stuff like that. That stuff never should have happened. And I think less frequent updates would be the only thing I would ask for.
Alrighty. If you had to join the old school RuneScape team, what position would you want? Luke.
I'm going to school right now for communication studies, doing a lot of work with people. I'm bilingual as well. I speak French. Just in general, common theme. I really like interacting with people. I can really see myself as a community manager of some sort, just interacting with people. Not to the point where it's like customer support where you're only dealing with people's problems. I like discussion more. I love interacting with people, just not their problems. I don't mind helping people with problems, but I don't specifically want to focus on that. But in general, just interacting with people, I think CM would be probably the most applicable place to me.
For me, I think I would have a lot of fun on a lot of positions at Jagex. I would enjoy being anti-cheat. I'd love to ban people and clown them on Twitter. That'd be really funny.
Yeah.
I'd like to be a community manager, have a lot of fun trolling people, and actually, I think I'd be a good community manager. Actually, I think I'd communicate with people well and bring through the feedback to the devs that need the feedback. I think I could do that position well, so I'd have a lot of fun being community manager as well. So maybe anti-cheat or community manager, or not a content dev, maybe QA. I think I could do QA well, but I wouldn't find it fun. So I don't know, probably community manager or anti-cheat.
I would do QA, so they'd actually have someone doing that job.
God bless. Doing God's work, Jack. Thanks.
Yeah.
God bless.
I want no position on the old school RuneScape team.
Your
I
job
think
is so much better. You have a Masters of Mechanical Engineering.
I mean, that wasn't my reason, but my reason was I think they're probably under a lot of like stress and pressure, and they get a bunch of differing opinions from a bunch of people, and so it's probably like I would have a hard time trying to, like I said, balance between the casuals and the people who play all the time. Plus, you have to balance that you need to be getting new players into the game, and there's a lot of stuff on their plate that they should be considering. I don't know if they actually do consider, but I know I would consider if I was in that position. It would stress me out a lot, and so the
a lot of factors.
Monetary value versus the stress I would take on would not be worth it for me. So I would like to be a voluntary QA tester. There you go.
Timos?
Come in.
I would probably be on the support team so that I can reply with the same copy and paste to everyone. With
At
Jagex help at Timos.
At Jagex help Timos.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Alrighty.
Another block on my Twitter.
Alrighty, so I think that's about it for the podcast. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask or discuss quickly before we end and move on to the Olympus Bingo draft?
We can see if anyone in chat has like an interesting question.
Joshua?
Anyone has something we didn't check? When do I get smart?
Hashtag the chat.
Never. Yup.
Well, I need to draft a team. Yeah, hop on Discord next in the latest chat. We'll move there soon. Who will burn next? Say Elo will burn next.
Ooh.
Say Elo is already burnt, but he will reburn. Say Elo is mentally burnt, but he's still playing the game.
Next is already burnt.
Next is super burnt, dude.
Next won't quit.
I have a question. Can I ask the chat a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna ask next a question. What is your favorite ASMR video?
Oh yeah.
And why is it people eating honeycombs?
I've seen too many ASMR videos for my liking. I'm gonna plug the Olympus Discord really quick in the chat.
Crying and eating ASMR mukbang. Okay.
Alrighty, we're gonna move on to the Olympus Bingo draft. Hope you guys enjoyed podcast number 2.